For these types of problems, you're going to find the product. The product is just the answer to a multiplication problem. Let's look at some examples, and you might notice that all of these have something in common. They all have a digit or two and then zeros after that. All of these numbers end with at least one zero, sometimes two. When you have problems like this, you can use a strategy called the I Spy strategy. And how the I Spy strategy works is you take the digits that are not zero and you multiply those together, and then you add zeros back on at the end. And let's take a look at how that works. So let's look at number 1. We have 700 times 60. So what the I Spy method wants us to do is to just look at the 7 and the 6 all alone. Instead of thinking about 700, we want to think about it as 7. So right now the 7 should really be in the hundreds place, but we're going to think about it as if it's in the ones place. So by doing that, we've really moved it to the ones place, and we've moved it to places where it shouldn't have been moved, just to make it easier. In the 60, well, it should have been in the tens place, but by multiplying by 6, we technically moved it to the ones place as well. So on 60, we moved it one place where we really shouldn't have. We did it to make the problem easier to solve, and that's okay. So 7 times 6 is 42. But that can't be all we did, because we can't ignore these places and move values around without moving them back in the end. So since we moved the 700 2 places to get it to 7, and we moved the 60 one more place to get it to 6, we've moved it 3 places that we really shouldn't have. So all we have to do is move it back those 3 places. So 7 times 6 equals 42, which would go right here in our place value system. But remember, we ended up moving it 3 places altogether to the right. So now we need to move them back those 3 places to the left. So the 4 gets moved 3 places, 1, 2, 3, and goes there. And the 2 gets moved 3 places, 1, 2, 3, and goes there. So this 4 and 2 are no longer there, and now we're left with these 3 empty places. We have to put zeros as placeholders where the empty places are. So that's how we end up with the real answer of 42,000. And that's why in the I Spy method, you can just count the number of places at the end, and after you've multiplied the digits you do see, you just add those on in the end. So let's look at number 4. For the I Spy method, you just find the digits that are not zeros, like 8 and 2, and you multiply those together. So 8 times 2 is 16. And then you find how many places you ignored, 1, 2, 3, and you add those places back on. So let's look at number 2. I spy a 2 and a 6, and that makes 12. But I ignored 3 places to make my problem easier, so I need to put those 3 places back. On number 5, I spy 7 and 9. 7 times 9 is 63. But I ignored these 3 places in order to make it easy, so now I need to put those 3 places back. Number 3, this one's a little bit different, but I still want to circle the digits that are not the 0. 31 and 6. I spy 31 times 6. So you have to know what 31 times 6 is. You may have to do a little bit of math on the side. And it's 186. And you still do the same thing. You count the number of zeros, the places you ignored, and you put them back. So for the last one, I spy 3 times 3, which is 9. I ignored these 3 places, so I need to move them back those 3 places. All right, you try some of this strategy on your own, and if you need help, you can come back and revisit. Good luck.